lightly, and then we'll try and integrate ourselves a little bit further into the herd. Hello, elephants. I don't seem too worried about this. This youngster in the back was sort of turning half around, but they didn't group up close. I mean, there you can see calves are sort of spread out. There's another calf off to the right, so they're not too bothered by us. And they might be, let's just see where they go. They might be heading to Treehouse Dam, or they might just be feeding along. That's interesting. They're sort of semi-split now. Those are all eating marulas. The others are heading into the bush. Let's go have a look. Let's see. Elephants! Try and get past them a little bit. Don't worry, you can see the one car screening the rest of the group. And I'm turning now so that we're not driving towards them, but rather side onto them. Nice bit of head shake there from the one female, probably the matriarch on the right hand side. Ah, lovely. But again, they're not grouped all tight together. The calves are still there, so they're not too worried or bothered. Jeannie's just asking what camera I'm using. Jeannie, I'll answer that for you in a second. Let's want to see what these elephants are doing. Don't worry. Yeah. Here's another youngster. Unfortunately, they don't seem like they want to interact too much. That female was staying behind for extra few marulas. I think let's rather... So maybe we should just leave them, but let's have one more look. Jeannie, just to answer that question for you quickly, I'm shooting with two cameras now. The one is a 10D, which was the sort of the first in the range of the digital cameras that replaced what was known as the 50 or the EOS 50 in the film days. And then the other one is the 40D, which subsequently they've made the 50D as well. Both the 40 and 50D are very close together in terms of what they do. And if you're going to get yourself some cameras, depending on what you've got to spend, look at the 50 or the 40D. Alternatively, even the 30D is still good and they still make them, which is just the earlier models in the same range. And the 7D was recently launched, very good at sort of moving slightly more to professional, the sort of full-on professional cameras. And then you get the 5D and the 1D. And unless you're really very seriously into photography, I don't think you need anything more than a 40D or a 50D can do everything you want to do. And then you can also look at the 500D, or there's a 1000D, slightly smaller models, but still SLRs. And depending on your budget, maybe rather spend some money on one or two extra lenses. Maybe get yourself a nice wide-angle lens or a nice big telephoto or zoom lens. Oh, a question from Richard, well, the answer is yes. Richard's asking if elephants knock down trees that they feed from. Yes, they sometimes do. They don't always do so, Richard. In terms of, like marula trees, for instance, we're looking at now, they don't knock them down too often, although they do. Sometimes they push them over to eat some of the roots or some of the branches, or to get maybe to some of the fruit they can't knock down. They also eat a lot of the shrub in the bush, so they do play a very big or a very crucial role in keeping the environment relatively open. If you don't have any elephants, eventually you'll get so much overgrazing that you could then have thick bush and make it very difficult for animals to get to the grazing or to move around. So elephants play an important role in keeping areas open for other animals as well. but they do push over various species of trees throughout the year, depending on if they're eating the roots or the bark or the leaves higher up or so on. Just go a little bit back onto the road. Looks like they're going to be on the road again, so we're going to try and stay in front of them rather than behind them. Yeah. Hey! Here's something nice. Let me show you. There's those elephants. And there are those elephants. More coming our way. Let's see who goes where first. These ones are moving along nice and fast, so let's wait for them now. I love all the white tusks. The ones you're looking at now are moving north. They're coming from Zoe's Road towards Shabamro Junction, and the ones behind us are moving sort of southish. It looks like two different herds that are sort of meeting up a little bit. Or perhaps two separate parts of a bigger herd. Quite often elephants will split into smaller groups during the day and then regroup into larger groups at night, depending on specific dynamics of those groups. The other herd's moving away now, so it looks like they might avoid each other. So perhaps two separate units. I'm just going to turn a little bit, Leishan, just so that when they come closer to us we can be in a bit more sort of friendly, interactive position. Station Tim Shlamin Low, Pilimus Katla and Chiba Junction area. Looks like the matriarch there, she's the largest looking of the females. Okay, it looks like they might head over to that other herd after all. They've just changed direction by about 90 degrees. See that very square forehead? I mean, that's a classic elephant picture, the trunk up like that. And they basically smelling the trunk holder up like that. So they could very distinctively smell those other elephants. They're close by and the breeze is coming from there. So they obviously recognize them from smell and they're going to meet up with them. And if they keep moving this fast, they might head down to Treehouse Dam soon. So I think rather than follow them through the bush, let's see if we can't preempt where they're going. Oh yeah, they can cover ground faster. But that sort of fast walk that they do. More like a fast walk. I guess it's like people that are into horses a lot, people that really know their horses, they've got all the exact terminology for running. I think you've got to have at least 2 feet off the ground at any stage. And galloping, what is galloping? I think galloping all 4 feet are off the ground at some stage. And all the different ways of moving, you know, only 2 feet or 1 foot and then 3 or whatever, all the different gaits. Let's try Shabam Road, maybe we bump into them again up front and we're going to move around to Treehouse Dam. In the drive off with them at the Woodall if we're lucky. A little bit back. Give us some extra space to move in.